horror. That's all that's there is horror. And not to me, that's not to say there isn't horror embedded in celebrity and desire.
Right,
There is definite horror, there's definite rape, there's definite all those things. I see it.
Absolutely.
But it's also like you're not telling me enough about it, because if it's just horror and rape, it doesn't really explain it to me.
It doesn't explain it. No, it doesn't explain how that whole gigantic, group of men were just completely enraptured by her, and in a way that I think very few other people were able to do. And I say this as a huge fan of Marilyn Monroe, but my fandom is, of course, it's embedded in all these details that I think I know, which may or may not be true. Fine, I admit that as well. But it's also about kind of what I feel like I've spent my entire life trying to understand that luminosity and incandescence in a way, because that luminosity and incandescence is actually about understanding how the world gets put together and how we try to understand it, right? I mean, to me, that's what stardom is about. It's not about, we've talked about Tom Cruise, for instance, right? And It's not about, of course, there's the Tom Cruise-ness, and also, as you know, my favorite, Jason Momoa. Like, how does Jason Momoa spend 20 years in the hinterlands and then suddenly become Jason fucking Momoa? Like, no one knows this about Jason Momoa, or they choose to ignore it. He has spent over 20 years being a nobody.
Yeah, he was on Baywatch, and he's just like a cute guy. He hadn't become whatever, like he turned into some like warrior-looking dude in his 40s. Right. Yeah.
And where was that switch clicked on? Where, when, and how was that switch, did that switch go off that turned him into that preppy white guy, into Jason Momoa, who is, as he had pointed out constantly, the first man of color to be a superhero.
That's right. Yeah, I don't often think of him that way, but
he's of color.
I guess there's The Rock too.
But not as big as Momoa, and in a very specific genre of film. Whereas Aquaman is not in a genre so much; it sort of became its own thing.
Right.
So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that I think stardom asks us to consider how the world is constructed. It's not just about celebrity and Hollywood. All of that matters.
It's everything. Like celebrity,
it's history.
Celebrity is like all anyone really wants to talk about, and it has to mean something.